Hello and welcome to this episode of the Work in Progress podcast. I am your host, Colleta Macharia, and I'm very delighted that you could join me today. Now, a few days ago, as I was removing things from the dining table to the kitchen, I made a blunder. I piled things onto a tray because I wanted to make just one trip from the dining table to the kitchen. And as I was setting down the tray onto the kitchen counter, the sugar dish toppled over and the sugar spilled. And now I had a mess to clean. And, the little time that I was trying to save by making just one trip, I ended up spending it cleaning up. But you know what? This was an irritation, all right? It was an inconvenience, but it was a minor irritation, a minor inconvenience. It did not mess up the rest of my day. I did not spend time crying over it. I simply just cleaned it and moved on. And I want to use this illustration to talk about yet another insight from the world of accounting. Remember in the previous episode, we looked at a couple of insights from the world of accounting and how they can be transferable or how they can be transferred and applied into life situations. And so today, I am looking at the materiality concept within the context of errors and mistakes. Now, according to the materiality concept, when an error is immaterial, that is, it does not have any impact on the financial statements, it does not have the potential to distort anything or to mislead anyone who is going to be using those financial statements to make a decision, then we don't spend time trying to track it or analyze it or, trying to see, how did it happen or who made it happen. We just correct it and we move on. And that applied in life situations simply means that we are judicious. We are, we are mindful of where we are spending our time. We don't spend time on little things that are immaterial, whether they are mistakes or whether they are good things. We are careful to appreciate, make corrections where necessary, and move on. All right? So judgment is necessary in determining what we pay attention to and where we put our focus, because where our attention goes, there our energy flows. But what if this error or this mistake is so material that it can distort the financial statements, or it has the potential to mislead somebody who's relying on those financial statements to make a decision? Then we must take time to analyze it and to understand what type of an error is it and make every effort to correct it, to reverse it, and to restore the books into that place of integrity, that place where they can be trusted, and to restore them to that place where they show the accurate, the true and fair view of the financial status of that company or organization. How does that apply in life? When we make those errors or those mistakes, we take the time to understand the effect of them, and then we do whatever we need to do to make amends. We seek the support that we need to ensure that we are restored, or if it's relationships that have been messed up, or if it's things that we have done that have caused us to go off track, then we take the time to get restored and to get back on track. And this brings me to yet another accounting concept, and that is the going concern concept. When an organization prepares its financial statements, it does so on the assumption that the organization or the company or the business is going to remain in business for the foreseeable future. So unless there is strong evidence to suggest that it is going to go into liquidation or it's going to wind up for whatever reason, then the assumption is that the company or the business is going to remain in business for the foreseeable future, and that affects how the assets and liabilities are treated in the financial statements. So application in life is that when these big things happen, whether they are mistakes or errors or whatever they are, yes, they can distort. They can distort our lives for a while, and they can cause us to go off track. But that is not the end of life. As long as we have breath in our lungs, and as long as we have opportunity, and as long as we remain alive, we have opportunity to be restored and to make amends and to move on and make a positive impact. And so what we need to do is to view ourselves as a going concern, as though we are in business, the business of living for the foreseeable future. And we do our best to ensure that we give it our best shot. We value the assets that we have, which are our giftings, our talents, the experience and exposure that we have gathered over time, and even the lessons that we have picked from those mistakes, those errors, and ensure that we apply them to the best of our ability to make our lives beautiful and the lives of those around us. And the other thing that we must do as we look at ourselves as a going concern is to look at those mistakes in the right perspective, not to magnify them and not to define ourselves by those mistakes, but to remember that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And if any of these examples resonate, and if you find yourself having trouble valuing yourself or seeing yourself as a going concern, find somebody who you trust, find somebody who believes in you, and let them help you to believe in yourself. The other thing is, remind yourself or become aware of how God sees you, because you are loved, you are treasured, and you are honored. And as long as you have been given that breath and that chance to be alive, then you are a going concern. Ralph Waldo Emerson said that it is not the number of times we fall down that matters, but it is the number of times that we get up that makes us a fighter. I wish you a fantastic fighting week. Keep shining, and see you on the next episode. The Work in Progress podcast is brought to you by Cogent Afrique. Visit www.cogentafrique.com to check out learning and development opportunities for you, your team, organization, and family.